What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we wanted to give you 5 types of isometrics we love to do with our athletes. ISOs are fantastic for building the ability to create force, great for longevity, especially for tendon health. There's a whole bunch of research on the benefit of isometrics, even for like muscular endurance type of stuff. So hopefully you enjoy these exercises we're giving you, and hopefully you enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure to subscribe to catch all of them. Hope you enjoy. All right, so the first exercise we have, I actually have a clip from Eden doing this yesterday, and I think we showed you in a couple videos recently. It's going to be a rear foot elevated split squat ISO. So as you can see in the clips, we got the bar on the J hooks, back foot on the roller, and we're just trying to drive up as hard as we possibly can. So the thing with this variation of the rear foot ISO is for Eden, we did more of a ballistic isometric approach where I told her you have 2 seconds on, about 1 second off, and we're going 3 rounds. So it's a total of about 6 seconds of work, but you go as hard as you can for 2, rest, go again, rest. You guys get the idea of that. So that ballistic approach is really good for producing high amounts of force with that repeat ability to continue going. So that's the first exercise that I love to do. You can also just go straight with it. We've done this before, where you're just pushing as hard as you can for, let's say, 6 seconds of work, 5 seconds. Remember, we talked about how the importance of different joint angle specificity. So make sure you're setting it up, but this is a fantastic option that you can do. All right, number 2, this one's a little similar to when we do our overcoming ISOs on a trap bar, but this time we're obviously loaded up the barbell, and we're going an overcoming ISO with kind of more like a deadlift type of style. So there's a couple different ways we can set this up. So we're just going basic, pulling as hard as you can, that type of pushing isometric, right? So we're gonna be here, like I said, a couple ways. Obviously I needed to prop myself up because my bars only go so low and I'm not super tall. But we're gonna be here. We're gonna set up in our deadlift position right here, okay? So the biggest thing is I want you focusing on pulling with your posterior chain. So we're gonna set up, we're going bilateral right here. As hard as we can, we're gonna try to pull as hard as we can, right? Firing up back here. We can also make this unilateral, right? Same type of setup where I'm here, and now I'm trying to drive as hard as I possibly can. So I really like this one because it super targets your hamstrings, your glutes, your calves, and pulling as hard as you can. Make sure you keep really good form as well, right? You don't want to start pulling with your back. Pretty much the same cues as when we hit trap bar, but now we're just kind of changing it up a little bit. This one's also great for the contraction of your back, making sure your spine is really strong, right? Those surrounding muscles. So I love this option. Another option we can do if you don't have the ability to set up how we just did for the overcoming ISO is we can do more of like a yielding isometric. So pretty much we're like holding a position. So we're trying to prevent the load from moving our position, so to speak. So what we could do here is, I'm going to come to the side. What we could do here is we're gonna hold this, get relatively a heavy load that you have to work to resist, and we're gonna get in the bottom of an RDL, and then we're just gonna hold that position, okay? So we're gonna get down, we're gonna hold it. You don't want this load to try to bring you down. That's a great way to work on force output and just a little different style of an isometric that you guys can also do. Number 3, I think hitting ISOs for our lower limb is one of the best things we can do for athletes. Helps reduce injury, helps improve stiffness, the ability to utilize energy, max force output. Obviously, you hear me speak about that, the importance of that when we're trying to produce force fast, whether we're jumping or sprinting. Everything that we produce travels through our lower limb. So we have to be super strong all the way down. So we can hit some ISOs for our lower limb, really targeting our calf, the ankle structure as well. So for this one, we're gonna go another overcoming ISO. If you have like a calf machine, if you're like sitting, you can obviously like hold it and try to resist load. You can do that a whole bunch of ways. You can have someone try to push you down, trying to resist load. I just like doing the overcoming ISO for this one. So we're gonna set up, once again, joint angles really matter. So you're gonna get here, and then you're gonna try to drive up as hard as you can, lift this thing, okay, firing through your calf, drive the ball of your foot into the ground. Kind of that spring ankle type of mechanism, right? You drive that foot in, you really fire up everything in the back. You can hold this for, you know, a different number of time depending on what you need. Also do more of that ballistic approach. What you could also do is like take some load off to where you're holding it on your back and then you're holding that calf raise right there. This would be awesome with like a safety bar so you can hold on. And then hitting something like that's also a great way to warm up, or it's a great way to like prime your body before you get going on, let's say, jumping or whatever like that. So this is one thing I really like to incorporate, lower limb ISOs for our athletes. I'm gonna say every week we do something like this. So definitely give this one a try. All right, so it's very important to also make sure we're hitting the frontal plane. So there's a lot of things you can do, right? We can hit just like a goblet lateral lunge and just hold that. Like I said earlier, that would be more of the yielding isometric. So lots of things we can do, even holding like a side on step down. But one exercise that I have been loving lately, started doing this with some of our baseball players, and now I'm kind of transitioning a lot of our soccer players this is great for, but it's gonna be a cable lateral lunge ISO. So I like elevating the foot that I'm lunging on. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna lunge to this side towards the cable, and that cable's trying to pull me. So I'm trying to resist that right there, okay? So I'm loading it up. I'm really firing up my glutes, the outside of my leg, my adductors working as well. And I like this because I need a lot of trunk control, right? I don't want to collapse. I'm not allowing myself to twist. I have to stay upright, I have to stabilize, and I have to resist. So I'll have athletes hold this, honestly, anywhere from like 15 to 20 seconds, really firing everything up. Technically, you don't need to elevate your foot. I just like to elevate it. I think it allows the athletes to get into a better position without having their trunks fall too far forward, but you don't need to elevate. All right, last one, we're going an overcoming ISO with the sled. So I love this one for working on horizontal force production, namely like sprinting. There are some machines that you can use that put you in an advantageous position for sprinting, where you can go one of those ISOs, pushing in, trying to produce force. However, we don't have one. So we'll load up the sled, we'll get on our wall, and there's a couple ways we can do this, right? So the first option is gonna be keeping your balance a little bit. We're gonna be here, we're gonna have one foot up against the wall. The foot on the wall, that's the one that's doing the work. So I'm gonna be here, and then I'm gonna drive into the wall as hard as I can. Okay, all my force is coming through my right leg. My left leg is just stabilizing me. So as you can see, my heel was kind of popped off. I'm driving force in as hard as I can, trying to move forward, trying to bust through this wall, really working on my glutes, my hamstrings. I feel that in my quads as well. The other one we can do is a little bit more advanced, and we're not gonna have a foot on the ground. We're just gonna have one up here, the other in the air. So I'm gonna be here. All of my weight is gonna be on my left leg, and I'm gonna be pushing as hard as I can into the wall, driving forward. As you can see, the sled's moving, so I would need to add some more weight to it, but you can kind of get the idea. I'm just trying to drive as hard as I can, trying to put force into the ground, and as you can see, right, that's gonna kind of mimic my sprint position. That good lean, trying to drive force, be really strong in this position so I can put force into the ground. Sorry, our battery died, but I think I was saying you wanna be really strong, put force into the ground, and doing stuff like this is gonna be awesome at helping you get faster. And we can also progress these too, right? We can get to the point where we're like doing a switch type of thing. Let's see if I can pull this back. That's as far as she wants to go. So doing a switch, this one's super advanced, right? But I'm gonna be here driving. Ooh. almost fell. I'm gonna be here driving, and then I'll switch, and then I'll switch back, right? Something like that, where we can just, I think that would be a little bit easier with the machine, but still we'll work our way up to that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.